In this video, we're going to talk about the concept of a staggered board. Now, first of all, when we talk about a board, we're actually referring to the board of directors. Okay, the board of directors for a corporation. Right? So this corporation, it has this board of directors, and it's staggered in the sense that elections only for some board members each year. Some board members each year. Well, what does that mean? That means that, so let's say that we have 12 slots. Okay, so let's say that there's this board of directors, there's 12 directors. Okay, now let's say that these directors serve, they're elected to serve a 3-year term. All right. Now, if the board's not staggered, well, what can we do? Well, we can just say, let's have this simple, and we just say that in year one, we elect 12 directors. Elect 12 directors. Okay. And then 3 years later, we elect 12 more. Elect 12 new ones, I should say. I mean, we basically have new elections, elect 12 directors. So we just do this. We just do this every 3 years, right? Because they serve a 3-year term. So we just elect them all at once, right? We just kind of have, so everybody's up for election, and then 3 years later, everybody's up for election again. And that's how we do it. Well, a staggered board, what we're going to say is let's take the same board with 12 directors. Now what we might do is we might say, okay, well, in year one, so let me just change up here. So now we'll say this is the staggered. This is the staggered method. Now what we might have is we might have this. We might have, okay, we might have year one. We have 4 directors. 4 directors elected, up for election. 4 directors elected. And then in year 2, we have elections for 4 directors. And then in year 3, we have elections for 4 directors. So what's happening is we still have 12 directors on our board, right? We still have 12 directors, and they're still serving a 3-year term. So none of that has changed. But what we're doing is, instead of holding all the elections in 1 year, what we're doing is saying, okay, well, four people will be elected in year 1, and they'll start serving their term, and they'll finish 3 years later. But then in year 2, there's a different 4 slots that are elected, and then in year 3, the other 4 slots they have an election. So it's really the timing, right? We're just not dumping all 12 elections into one period. We're staggering it. We're staggering the elections so that every year some elections take place. Now, what does this mean? Why does this matter? So this is a very important takeover defense. The staggered board is takeover defense. You might say, okay, well, what does this have to do with a takeover? Well, let's think about how a takeover often occurs. So you have some investor. You have some investor, someone who thinks that they would like to take over the firm. So you've got the firm. This investor wants to take over that firm. They think they can run it better, and obviously, the management resists, and there's some kind of issue, and there's a hostile takeover possibility. Now, if the elections, if you've got it set up where all the directors are going to be elected in the same year, then what happens if that person wants to take over? They can try and get control of that board. If they can get a majority of these directors in the year that the election takes place, then conceivably they could just immediately take over the firm, right? They want to get control, right? This investor want control, and they need a board majority, right? Need majority of board of directors. So if I notice, apologize for my penmanship, if I notice, okay, wait a minute, I want this firm and I know that there's an election coming up, an election in 3 months, and I want to take over. Okay, right now I put all my resources to try and get a majority of this board of directors. But wait a minute, if it's a staggered situation, if it's a staggered board, then what happens? Well, there's only going to be 4 elections, 4 available seats that I could possibly get this year, right? So how is that a problem? Well, we've got 12 seats. Now, if only 4 are available at this election, then I'd have 4 out of 12. I don't have a majority. So now it's going to basically take me 2 years. I have to wait now. Now it takes 2 elections to get majority, right? To get this majority that I need to take over. Now you might say, okay, well, who cares? It just takes place over 2 elections. Well, the thing is that whatever is creating a situation where this investor has the power or momentum to possibly seize some control and get some board seats, to get some of these director seats. They've got some momentum. Something's going on. People aren't happy with the firm or the way it's being run. Well, the managers might think, well, look, if only 4 seats go up, then it takes, this takes us 2 years. Well, 2 years from now, things might change, right? 2 elections from now, it could be the economy picks up, things are better, everybody loves the firm again, they love management, and now this investor, the shareholders don't want to vote for the people that this investor is putting up for election to the board. So basically what it's doing is this whole staggered board thing is making it say, okay, well, we're going to stagger the elections for these board seats so that they don't all take place in the same year, so that it basically takes 2 elections or 3 elections or whatever for this investor to seize control of the board. And they're hoping that by the time that second election rolls around, by the time this happens, that at that point conditions will have changed and that investor will no longer have the support of shareholders to be able to get the people they want elected to the board, and thus they won't be able to take over the firm.